Join me, Chip Flory, weekdays at 10:06 on Central Illinois Ag Station, WHOW.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio this morning is Griffin Pollock with Community Action. Today, we talk about weatherization. Griffin, good to see you, man. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I am good. Thanks for asking. Thanks for coming out and talking with us today. And let's get right into it, Griffin. Talk weatherization through Community Action. Where does this conversation start?
So we can start. It's kind of how to apply and how to get a hold of us.
Okay.
So you can, say if you're already doing with like LIHEAP with Community Action, you're automatically qualified for us.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to develop the whole application with us. All you have to do is call one of our intake workers at any of the agency offices.
Mm-hmm.
We have one in Petersburg, we have one in Havana, we have one in DeWitt, which could be Clinton,
Mm-hmm.
or in our central office in Lincoln.
Okay. So to get in, start with LIHEAP, basically, is what you're saying.
Pretty much start with LIHEAP, and then you'll do an application with a different application. So
Now, does every LIHEAP applicant get referred to you guys?
They can, but they usually have to be told about the program.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because, like I said, most people don't really know about our program. They don't really know that we can do this type of work.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I tell you what, let's get into that next. Tell us a little bit about weatherization. What does that mean? What types of projects are you taking on? What are you doing for folks?
So our point of our program is to save people energy, make their house more efficient. So we go into homes, we'll do an assessment. We go in there, we look at every aspect of home. So we'll look at your attic, we'll look at your basement, crawl space, all your walls, kind of see if you have any leaks. We'll test gas lines, we'll look at all your appliances. So you get your furnace, your water heater, your AC unit.
Mm-hmm.
We'll even look at light bulbs. We'll look at air sealing measurements, like sealing around doors and windows.
Mm-hmm.
We'll also test gas lines and stuff, make sure everything's like that.
Mm-hmm.
But we pretty much will try to install insulation to make your house a little more comfortable. And then we'll do air sealing measurements to make sure you're not losing energy through any little small cracks or anything that's not noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
And then we try to replace the appliances to make them more efficient. So overall, then we end up saving you money on your energy bill because you're not having to use as much energy.
Yeah, sure. I venture a guess a lot of places you're going to, there's more than one issue, right? There's more than one.
Yes.
Yeah, there's more than one thing you need to address. Are you addressing everything in a home? Are you ranking the priority of, most important to the energy efficiency of a house to the least? How does that work?
So there is a priority list that our program goes through. It goes from 0 to 7.
Mm-hmm.
So first we go off that priority. That's kind of how when we start calling people. So if you're higher priority, we'll call you first,
Mm-hmm.
or most likely at least. And then we'll go down the list once we get those other higher houses done.
Okay.
So then once you get the assessment done, we goes through a state system. All the work that we try to do as much work as possible at each home.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have limited funds
Mm-hmm.
on each home. But we try to do as much work as possible. It goes through a state system that we have. And then that kind of tells us what we can and can't do for work wise.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we try to do as much work as possible, but it's ultimately just up to the state system of kind of what we can and can't do.
Gotcha. So so when someone comes through the LIHEAP program, is the fund, or I should ask it this way, is the funding for your program the same dollars that are coming out of the LIHEAP program? Does that make sense?
No, we have different grants and federal loans, or I guess all grants, but federal and state grants that we get just for our program.
Okay.
But it is a limited amount for our overall year.
Mm-hmm.
We get new fundings every year.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we can always ask for more if we end up spending our grants in that year, within a year.
Are you able to help every person that comes to you in some way? You may not get to everything, all the needs they have.
Not always. There's always some instance where we can't do any work. There's even instances where you just don't have enough work where we can't do anything.
Oh, okay.
It's very rare, but it does happen every once in a while.
Okay.
But for the most part, we can usually help most people. But there is small instances where we can't.
I see. Got it. Again, our guest in studio this morning is Griffin Pollock with Community Action. We're talking about weatherization this morning. Griffin, when someone comes to you with a through the LIHEAP program, they're referred to you. You do an assessment on their home, like you were talking about. What happens next?
So after assessment, we go back into the office. We put all the information we gathered from the assessment. We put it into that state system I was kind of talking about just a second ago. And then that state system will kind of give us approval of what measures we can do. And then we send out contractors. We'll have a mechanical contractor usually and an architectural contractor, because we try to do both aspects for every home. And then they will kind of do all their work. They'll call the homeowner, set up times with them that work for the homeowners. And then we will come back out there after everything's installed. We'll check every install we did, make sure everything's running good. And then we'll also it's pretty much the same aspect of what we did with the assessment, make sure we do the same tests that we did then.
Yeah, I assume the person has to own their home.
No, actually, you can be a renter. You just have to get permission from your landlord. They have to sign some papers.
Okay.
And then you can still do it. It's a little harder for the renters because you have to go off higher wages, just because that's the state rule. So it's a little harder to get work approved for them, but we can still try to.
I see. Gotcha. So yeah, once you were telling me before we got started that there's quite a lag in when a person comes to you with a potential project, you do the assessment, and then finally getting to the work. And you talked about kind of ranking priority in terms of addressing those. What is the let's go from after the assessment done by contractors and architects and all those things. What happens after that?
So like I said, we'll come out there after. It doesn't really, it just kind of depends on when the contractor gets done, because all we have to do is for every home if we end up doing any work.
Okay.
So it's not really a priority after that. It's just kind of when that contract gets done. So if like this house gets done first, and then we'll go there first, and then it kind of just goes down the list.
I see. Got it.
It's not really after. We don't care about the priority when we first call them before like the assessments.
Sure. Okay.
So, but the work can take a while. So we can have the assessment done, and then you could have work done in a month, or it could be 9 months. It's really kind of an iffy time frame with the program. It's just kind of how it is. If for some reason we go past a year with our assessment, we have to come back out there and reassess, because those assessments are only good for a year.
Okay. Does that happen often?
No, not usually, but every once in a while, just because sometimes work gets backed up.
Yeah.
Contractors are working slow, or
Sure.
holidays,
Yeah.
happens.
I mean, we had some work bid on our house, and it was going to be into the spring, and that was in the fall last year. So
Right.
yeah, those guys are working hard right now, trying to keep up for sure. Now, do you work with the same contractor and same architects for all these projects?
For the most part, we procure our own contractors, so we hire them ourselves. We usually have the same contractors, but we work with about 6 different contractors, usually
sure.
3 or 4 different mechanicals, 3 or 4 different architecturals. So it kind of just, we work with the same ones, but it can differ on each home.
Sure. Gotcha. Well, I'll tell you what, Griffin, we're coming up on needing a break here for this morning. You mentioned at the top of this that folks come to your weatherization largely through the LIHEAP program and being referred to from those folks. If anyone's interested, we'll point them in the direction of LIHEAP, if that's all right. How do they learn about LIHEAP and get information on all that?
LIHEAP, you probably just go through the same way. Call our offices, ask for the program. They are very good about helping, especially with LIHEAP. You call it the central office or any of the community action buildings in the area.
Okay.
And we do cover 5 counties, which is Menard, Mason, DeWitt, Logan, and Pyatt.
Yeah, very good. All right, Griffin, I'll tell you what, my friend, let's take a break, come back with some more. Griffin Pollock, Community Action, our guest in studio here this morning. More to come with Griffin on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Health isn't just something you think about when you're sick. At the SIU Center for Family Medicine in Lincoln, our doctors care for you through every stage of life. Annual checkups help you stay ahead of problems, keep your family healthy, and build a relationship with a doctor who knows you. Make preventative care part of your routine. Book your annual appointment online today by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. SIU Medicine in Lincoln. Forward for you.
Here's Clinton Save-A-Lot owner Dave Jackson on how he works to save you money every day.
I know the retails at the stores in Decatur probably better than most of the people in the stores know. I monitor this closely so customers do not have to. And then you don't have to spend $40 or $30 driving round trip at 60 cents a mile to Decatur or Lincoln or Bloomington. That's real numbers. It's 60, 70 cents a mile to drive your car.
And as Clinton Save-A-Lot owner Dave Jackson always says,
hope to see you soon.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police splatter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Netflix buffering, YouTube spinning, devices not connecting, Zoom calls dropping. It's frustrating. Let's end your frustration by signing up for fiber internet in Clinton. Click the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Here's Matt Hart, owner of the Hart Media Group in Clinton, talking about continuing to serve the community through new ownership.
Things came together and we reached an agreement to purchase. And as you mentioned, we closed August the 1st. So as August the 1st, Miller Media Group is now Hart Media Group. And we're continuing to serve the people of Clinton and DeWitt County and Monticello and Bloomington and Decatur and everywhere, because we'll just keep connecting people as we've been doing.
The Hart Media Group looks forward to continuing to serve the community for years to come.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, Griffin Pollock with Community Action, and talking about the weatherization in studio with us here for today. Griffin, let's go back to the start of our last conversation and just remind folks, what does weatherization look like in Community Action? What are you doing and how are you helping folks?
Yeah, once again, we are trying to save people energy as much as possible, so we make your house as efficient as possible. So we're trying to tighten it up with air sealing measurements. We're trying to insulate your walls, your attic, even crawl spaces and basements. We'll even try to do stuff for like possible radon stuff, like open dirt and crawl spaces. We'll try to cover that with Viz Queen. We'll look at appliances like your furnace, water heater, AC units. We even look at fridges sometimes if you guys want, if they are open to trying to replace those, but with very basic replacements. But we also look at light bulbs, just little stuff that saves you a little bit of energy.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it as simple as just little things in some circumstances where maybe it's sealing a door better, maybe it's sealing a window, maybe it's you talked about a more efficient lighting system or something like that, where you could just do that yourself. How about that?
Yeah, you can, but it definitely does help with our getting approved work if we can change light bulbs for you or do that stuff, because it is very efficient stuff that we have to go through, and it definitely helps the home costly wise.
Yeah, sure. Well, we were going to dive into, Griffin, just kind of the process, continuing along in the process of what it looks like. This is you were going to mention this is a year-round program. How about that aspect of it?
It is a year-round program. Our program year starts usually in July, ends in June. So we're a little slower around July in the couple months because we have to wait for funds to come in. But we usually still try to get some work to keep going from some overflow funds from the previous year.
Sure.
But so but you can apply with us any day, anytime,
Mm-hmm.
and we take as much applications as possible.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Is there a busy season for this program for you all?
The busiest times are probably in the spring and fall, because that's when most likely people will let us sit in the homes.
Okay.
Holidays a little slower just because people got to do stuff with family, and it's a little harder. And contractors usually do busy with their family too. So,
Sure. Yeah.
What
about this time of year where, we're into late January, February? It's the coldest time of the year. Is it pretty busy, like getting calls and assessments right now, that sort of thing?
We're pretty busy as work-wise. This is usually when our contractors actually probably work the most, and get a lot done. We usually run through houses a little bit faster around this time.
Okay. So let's say somebody comes to LIHEAP this month and they get referred to you. You do, I don't know how long the turnaround is from their LIHEAP application to getting in touch with you and you doing the assessment. But let's say you do the assessment by the end of the month. How, what's the time frame kind of looking like maybe for them from there?
Right. So like I said, we will do assessment, and then after that we go back and then we try to put in with the next couple of days, or if not that day, all the information we have from that assessment, and then we'll contact the contractor. The contractor has to go to every home to do a test. It's called a manual J. This is kind of see the sizing for furnaces and ACs. Even if we don't replace them, we still have to do this test on every home.
Okay.
So a contractor usually will come out there for that test, and then they'll give us that information, and then we'll plug in, say if we're actually replacing the furnace or the AC, we'll plug in the sizing from that manual J test.
Okay.
And then that's when we usually send out the work order after that.
Got it.
And then hopefully the contractors would call and schedule within like a week or two, but it could, like I said, it could be a month, it could be 9 months, just because the contractors can have like 4 or 5 homes already, and so they have to do those houses first before they move on to the next one.
Makes sense. Sure. Very good. Well, Griffin, on that front, you mentioned that LIHEAP is kind of largely how folks come to your program. Is there anything about that process we haven't touched on that you want to make sure folks know about, or anything of that nature?
There's not too much, but I will say it can be anyone. It could be young adults. It could be anyone with anyone with children, anyone with disabilities. Older,
I was going to say, do you
seniors.
prioritize? I know with like LIHEAP funding, there is kind of that prioritization. Do you prioritize?
All those little things kind of go into the priority number that I talked about, the 0 to 7 scale that we have. So like, say you have 3 kids and 2 of them have disabilities, I would think your priority number would be higher because you have so many disabilities, in that home. And then income obviously goes into that too.
Sure.
The lower, the higher priority you're going to be.
Yeah, elderly, I'm sure plays.
Elders are most of our clients. That's what we usually see, but we have definitely seen younger adults with young kids with disabilities, and we try to help everyone we can. So
what's it like for you? You go through the whole process, you help somebody improve their home, you get done, you sign off, say, yep, you're good to go. Thanks for doing this. What's that ending process like? What's the reaction?
So when we usually we don't really see the end of this, because usually when we come back to check all the measures that we installed and everything like that, and do the tests that we did need to do, and make sure all the installments are correctly. We have them sign a piece of paper saying they're satisfied with everything that we did, and then we kind of don't have touch after that, because after that you have a year of guarantee of work from the contractors. So if you have any problems, you can just contact the contractors that did the work, and they'll come back out there and help you with anything they have.
Sure. What's that reaction like though once that person realizes they've got a better home because of what you've done? Is that really rewarding?
Yes. Usually we've seen small ants. Usually people are very pleased just at the end when we come there to have them sign that piece of paper and check everything, and they're usually very pleased with all the work and very happy that we were able to help them out. There's actually some instance where I've talked to the person months later from us doing work, and we've done that final inspection. And they've told me that we have saved them so much money on their energy bill, and it's made a huge difference in their lives, and they are very pleased with everything.
That's cool. That's cool. Are you able to help a person more than once?
Yes, we can. It's our applications is based off addresses usually, really. So say you got your work done 2 years ago and you moved somewhere else, you can actually reapply for us because you have a new address.
So you can't help the same address more than once, though.
I was about to get to that. Actually,
Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're fine. So if you first say you're living at the same house for 15 plus years, if you at 15 years you can reapply at the same address.
Okay.
But it is 15 years. But like I said, if for some reason you end up moving, like in 5 years, you can reapply at that new address.
Gotcha. Very good. Well, Griffin, I hate to do this to you, man. We've made it to the end. How do folks get more information about this program?
Like I said, just get a hold of the agencies, community action agencies. They will help you out and help you direct you to the application for
Very good. Griffin, great job, man. You made it to the end. Appreciate it. Griffin Pollock, our guest here from Community Action, talking weatherization here on The Morning Show. The Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Network news comes your way next.
WHOW.
With SRN News, I'm Rich